What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What up, everybody? It's AC Reviews the World back at you with another video, another show. This is episode 7. It's Thursday, May 8th. Yeah. We got a good couple of things to talk about. A lot of stuff. Revenge killings on cops that didn't have anything to do with the situation. Racial slurs trying to raise $1 million. Foot Locker shootings. Group of YNs arrested. It's been a crazy few days and weeks. As you know, we're just trying to review the world together, and everything that pops up on my feed that I find interesting, I'll bring up and we'll talk about it, and we'll get to the bottom of it and think about, and just keep it in mind and think about what's happening around the world. It's always good, but remember, this is AC Reviews the World. Remember to like and follow. And let's get right into it. So the first thing we're going to be looking at the revenge killing. So I think it's Rodney Hinton Jr. So little basics of the facts before we jump right into the video. Rodney Hinton Jr. son was killed by a cop. And what happened? I think the same day or day afterwards, he ends up hitting and running into a cop with his car, and the cop that he hit had nothing to do with it. But let's get right into it, to the video. Remember, like and subscribe, and let's just review the world together, y'all. But let's jump right into it.
The father of a teen fatally shot by Cincinnati police Thursday, now behind bars, after investigators say he killed a deputy from another department the next.
There is a connection between these two incidents.
38 years.
Now y'all heard that, right? He killed an officer in wholly another department than the one that had anything to do with his son.
Year-old Rodney Hinton Jr. is charged with aggravated murder. Prosecutors say he intentionally struck a recently retired Hamilton County deputy who was on traffic patrol.
I've got an officer now.
A makeshift memorial today at the intersection. The deputy, just identified by the sheriff's office as Larry Henderson, later died at the hospital.
He was so well liked and so well known.
A courtroom full of law enforcement Saturday as Hinton faced a judge. His team in court calling this an emotionally charged situation. Hinton making a hard-to-hear comment to deputies while being escorted out in handcuffs. The crash happened just hours after he joined a meeting with Cincinnati police to review body camera video of his son's death, according to the attorneys hired by the family to investigate the police shooting. The video, now publicly released from 2 different angles, shows 18-year-old Ryan Hinton being shot and killed Thursday morning by a city police officer.
He's got to go.
Investigators say the teen pointed a gun at Cincinnati officers responding to a call of a stolen vehicle. Hinton's family attorneys tonight writing they are heartbroken by this tragic turn of events, and we are all devastated for the family of the officer who was killed.
Shaquille Brewster joined.
Now, they said a few hours after he's seen this video. I don't understand why you would go after someone who has nothing to do with the case. I don't think you should go after someone, period. I think you should let the police handle it, do their investigation, however you feel about the police. But hurting someone or killing someone who has nothing to do with your son's death, who was just trying to do his job, a retired police officer, just trying to do traffic duty, ends up dying because you couldn't handle your own emotions. Now, I understand it's a very emotionally charged. You just seen your son killed on a police cam, and I can understand it being very hard to deal with. But I do not understand and do not agree with someone just going out and first cop you see, you just immediately attack them. No, we are grown men, and we need to handle our emotions at least appropriately. Like, It's always somewhere you lash out at the person associated with the actual crime, but lashing out at someone who had nothing to do with just trying to mind their business and doing their job is insane to me.
Brings us now from Cincinnati. So, Shaq, what is next here for the man being charged?
Hallie, he's scheduled to be back in this courthouse Tuesday morning as the state requests he be held without bond. Meanwhile, you see it there. Flags on county buildings have been lowered to half-staff in honor of that fallen deputy. Hallie?
Thanks for watching.
All right, there's another video that I want to show dealing with this. So it's just breaking down it a little bit more with the Houston Fox 26. So let's watch that, and then we're also going to get into some at the bond hearing. Some heated conversations happened with the public. So let's jump all into that.
Out of Ohio, a family in Ohio is dealing with the loss of a loved one, while a sheriff's office is mourning the loss of a deputy. Both sides are connected by the suspect involved. My next guest has more details.
And joining us on The Factor Uncensored to talk about this case, we have Greg Dupree, former law enforcement officer with TLAC now. Greg, we know Rodney Hinton is being held without bond for aggravated murder in Cincinnati after police there said he ran over and intentionally hit and killed a deputy. This is after his son was killed by law enforcement officers only days before his son is 18-year-old Ryan Hinton, a suspect in a crime.
Now let me say something. I understand. I don't understand crashing out, but I understand getting emotional and want to do something. If your son, I don't know. But what the police said is that the son was carrying a gun and he pointed the gun at the officer. If that's what happened, I do not understand. Like, I understand you're upset about your son, but he was shot and killed while he was committing a crime. So at some point, you can't ruin your life. Well, yeah, you can't ruin your life trying to protect your son if your son was already, his life was already ruined. Pointing guns at officers, that's going to get you shot. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But let's keep going.
So your thoughts about this case?
It's just tragic that you have, I'm giving this guy his due process. If this guy intentionally tried to kill a law enforcement officer, it's despicable on his part. You know, no matter what his motivation was, your son lost his life while in the commission of a crime, and you decided.
What did I say? Lost his life while he was doing a crime. It's very crazy. But let's keep going.
Take revenge on law enforcement officer who wasn't even with the same department. But aside from that, the total act of this type of crime is just despicable.
And when you have someone behaving like this, and we have to say allegedly behaving like this, he was in court. He was arraigned on the charges. I think more than 30 law enforcement officers were there to see his arraignment because it.
Surrounded. You're surrounded by the men in blue. I can't imagine what. I don't know if all. I don't want to say that all them injuries was him from a car, but you don't know. But
the deputy was killed. But when you have someone behaving like this and justifying it in their minds, a life for a life, or as we know, an eye for an eye.
Yeah, y'all see he talking crazy. I don't know what he doing, but he sound like he's saying some some crazy stuff.
Is this a dangerous precedent that we're setting as a society if we believe that?
Well, I think the precedent has already been set, Isaiah. It's this, even though it is, I guess, you don't see it covered that often. Incidents like this have taken place before, for decades. In departments I worked in, we had officers lose their lives because someone wanted to kill a police officer. So it's not something that's new. The concern here is copycats and the frequency these incidents might occur. You can go all the way back to January 6th. In the Capitol, when they were storming the Capitol, and it was the total disrespect and violence that was perpetrated against the law enforcement officers who were just doing their job there was just as despicable. And when you talk about setting a precedent, that could have triggered a lot more people to say, well, heck, if these guys can disrespect cops, I can do the same thing. And that wall of respect that generally separates the majority of the public from law enforcement or acting like this, I believe is starting to wear thin or even come down. So it does set a precedent that can be very dangerous for law enforcement officers going forward.
For those who are wondering exactly why Rodney Hinton did this, what is his son accused of and what happened to his son that took him down this path, or so we believe?
Okay. From my understanding, his son was driving a stolen vehicle with two other individuals, and they were spotted by a fugitive unit in Cincinnati, and they attempted to pull him over.
Now, if you don't know what this we call the new age slang is for people who are doing these, it's YNs. And you probably heard me mention it before, but it's a crazy world. Let's keep going.
Over, and two officers, when they attempted to pull him over, he got out of the car and started running. Two officers gave chase. He evidently slipped and fell, and one of the officers believed he heard and saw Mr. Hinton drop a gun and then pick it up and then run and hide behind a dumpster. Well, that officer that saw it, he yelled out to his partner that the guy had a gun, and they cornered him on both sides of behind the dumpster, and the other officer shot at him 5 times, hitting him twice, once in the chest and once in the arm, and he died right there at the scene.
And of course, it's our understanding that Rodney, the father, was shown, or members of the family, including Rodney, the father, was shown the surveillance video or the body cam footage.
Body cam, right.
And saw what happened to his son. And do you think that triggered something? What? Because typically in body camera footage.
Now, what he just said, so some people are saying he pointed the gun at the officer, or like he just said that he was running, tripped, gun fell out, grabbed it, run, hides behind a dumpster. I think either way, the officer's going to try their best. If they believe a gun, he's hiding behind, he has a gun. They're telling him to get down, drop the gun. It's a bad situation all around. If you have a weapon, police are telling you to get down and you're running, hiding, I think it's logical that you would assume that you're going to get shot. I mean, it's crazy. But let's finish up this video and go on to the next one where we can see what's happening in the bond.
The family is shown more than what's provided
shown to the public. Right.
They get
Correct.
to see the raw details of that video.
Right. Yeah. Well, anytime it's got to be no matter what the circumstances are, it's got to be a tragic experience for a parent to not only lose their child, but actually see their child die. And, I can understand how somebody can snap as a result of that. But even so, it doesn't justify the actions that took place after that.
Exactly. It does not justify the actions of going after, or just going after anyone in general. It does not justify the actions of especially going after a cop who had nothing to do with the whole situation. But let's move on to the next video. We're going to watch a little bit of inside the courthouse during the bond hearing. So let's jump into that and see that whole confrontation so we can get an idea of everything that was happening.
a breather. I just want my brother to see me. I just want my brother to see me.
Okay, as he just said, this is the brother of Rodney Hinton Jr. So understand he's emotional, trying to show support, but at the end of the day, if you got a problem with the shooting, I understand you might have a problem with the shooting. You're against what the cop did. I'm not going to agree or disagree, but I think it's natural to shoot the suspect. But how you feel about it is totally different than going out and hurting someone random. That's totally different. He did that. He deserves to go to jail for what he did. He killed an officer who had nothing to do with his own. He can say he's emotionally distressed, but he needs. I don't know. I think he should be in jail. That is my thinking. But let's finish up this video.
My brother can't see me. They did this shit before. They did this shit before.
That's not the way to do it.
They did it before. I got a video of them messing with my brother and me.
I'm confused on what they did before. That is the same situation as him killing a random cop. I don't understand it.
I ain't do nothing. I just wanted my brother to see me. I ain't do nothing to him. He got my, that's my family. That's my family in that store.
Okay, come on. Ray, please. Come on.
Like I said, this is a very emotionally charged situation. Everyone's emotions are flying. It's crazy. It's crazy. But that's that. We're gonna keep following along with what's happening with Rodney Hinton, and I think it's only reasonable to me that he's going to go to jail. I don't understand. Now there's some people who are supporting it who said, "Hey, got to do what we got to stand up to him." But I mean, like I said before, just in general, attacking someone out of emotion is crazy, but attacking someone who has nothing to do with the situation is even crazier. But that's it for that one. The next thing I want to get into is everybody's been talking about the lady who spewed racial slurs at the child for reaching into her child's bag. Now, the child was young. I've seen children reach into other people's bags. It's not because they're bad kids. It's just what childs do. They see a bag. Oh, let me go in and but her racial slurs, and she's ended up starting a what is it? Not the GoFundMe. I don't know if that's their name anymore. Go Save Me, whatever it's called. But she set a goal to reach $1 million because she needs to help protect her family. It's wild, but let's get into it. Let's jump right into that video. We're gonna watch a little bit of the incident that was recorded, and then some protests that was happening. So let's jump right into that.
Did you call him the child? Did you call the child the word? It is my own business. You call him. Okay, why don't you have the balls to say it right now again? Okay. All right, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people.
Nobody digging through.
A little kid just did, you dumb.
That little kid, you call him a. The little child?
What if he acts like one? He's gonna.
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
Said if he acts like one, this is a little kid now. It's different if, I don't know if it's different, but if he was a grown dude reaching into somebody's purse, yeah. It's crazy. He needs to go to jail, but it's a little kid. I don't really know. It's crazy. But let's finish up. It's not that much long, but let's see let's finish it up.
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old and the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be that.
I don't give
Huh. Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you.
All right, so that's that video, what everybody's up in arms about. Let's get into the protest of it. Little video we got.
Members of the community in Rochester gathering to rally and call for charges for a woman seen using racial slurs in a video that went viral last week. Crowdfunding sites are now seeing hundreds of thousands of dollars raised for both the woman and the family on the receiving end of those comments.
Yeah, a lot of people talking about this story. Fox 9's Rob Olson was there for that rally today and joins us now live in Rochester. Rob, really quite the situation down in southeast Minnesota tonight.
Yeah, it's been a week now since this happened, and it really keeps growing here. The emotions keep growing, and the response keeps growing as well. There's going to be another rally here at Soldiers Field Park in Rochester, due to start here at any minute. There'll be a town hall meeting hosted by the NCAA Rochester, the NAACP in Rochester. That will happen on Wednesday evening, and of course that noon rally today, where people are very, very emotional about what happened and really also what's happened since.
We need to stand together for the right of all people.
On the steps of Rochester City Hall, a crowd of about 75 people called for unity in the face of racism.
Our city is facing a crisis that has become far too familiar. Hate crimes and acts of racism are on an uptick in our community.
A rally that also called for criminal charges against a woman caught on video in a video that's gone global.
Justice needs to be more than a word right now. It needs to become a standard. Okay?
It was 1 week ago in this Rochester playground when a white woman was overheard using a racial slur towards a 5-year-old boy. She'd accused the boy of trying to steal from her own toddler's diaper bag. A bystander confronted her, and the video, which we are not showing and in which she repeated the slurs, soon went viral. The woman, named Shiloh, then launched a fundraiser to protect her own family.
She's already raised, well, this is a little older, but she's already raised at minimum $650,000 out of that goal of $1 million. There's always going to be, like, just with the Carmelo Anthony, I don't agree with what Carmelo did at all, but people are going to raise money for what they believe in. Hey, you are free to spend your money on whoever you want to. If you think Carmelo was right, if you think she was right, but hey, you can spend your money on whoever you want to. I don't have the money to spend no money on anybody right now except for myself. But hey, let's keep going.
It's raised nearly $700,000. She writes that they fear they might have to move after extreme threats online, and donations have come with even more incendiary racial comments.
Honestly, the incident itself was horrific. You know, accosting a child and then apparently prideful about it. But the fundraising after has just really thrown folks for a loop, including myself.
Racism has got to go!
In both the rally and the brief march that followed came more calls again for criminal charges. Police did finish their investigation over the weekend. The city and county attorneys will now decide if, in fact, any laws were broken.
Well, we want her to be prosecuted. And we want to continue spreading love. You got to spread love.
Again, no word on exactly.
Now, the only charge I can think of is hate speech, but that's the only thing I can think about. I don't even know what that kind of charge that is or what type of time that would do or fine, but yeah. I think she's already lost her job, but no matter who you are, you have to be careful what you say. I understand. Yes, it's just, it's crazy. But let's finish up this video a little bit.
How long it could take to decide if there's any criminal charges here, whether it's city or county level, misdemeanor or felony level. We'll be waiting on that as they review this incident to see, again, if there's a crime here or not. The NAACP did have a fundraiser as well for the family of the child involved in this. That fundraiser went more than $300,000. They've since shut it down, but they say that will go to help that family as well as
it is crazy that she raised way more, but maybe they cut it off before it got up to. It could have got up to that, but that is crazy.
Support other social justice issues. Live in Rochester, Rob Olson.
All right, that's it for that little video. We'll keep updates on what kind of charges they actually bring towards this woman, or if they bring charges at all, if there's any more protests and stuff like that. But we'll keep everybody in the loop about what is happening. Just one thing now she ain't got no job. Should have talked to the family. She should have talked to the parents. Hey, grabbed say no, you can't go in the bag, and then told the mother or father, whoever was there, hey, your son was trying to go in my bag. And it's crazy. But like I said, that is it for this video. The next thing we want to get into is the Foot Locker shootings. So, 4 people ended up in a shooting. I think 2 of them died, and then later on, someone else turned himself in. But let's jump directly into that so we can see what's happening. This is in Detroit now.
East Point.
Yeah, right now, police are investigating a shooting outside of a Foot Locker that's happening on East 8 Mile. That's where we find Fox 2's Camille Amiri live on the scene. And Camille, I understand you just spoke with police. What's the latest?
Yeah, we did just get a briefing from police to find out that 4 people, a total of 4 men, have been shot. 2 of them have died, 1 here on the scene and another one at an area hospital, and then the other 2 victims taken to area hospitals. Take a look at some video. Still a very active scene. This happened about 10 till 3 at the Foot Locker in East Point on East 8 Mile, and Kelly, as you said at the beginning of the newscast. Just a horrific situation. Police say that there were 2 groups of people, the victims and the suspects.
Now you can see, I don't know if you saw that, but let's back it up just a tad. You see all them shells on the ground? That's what they're marking right now with all the evidence. But you see all them shells? Letting loose, boy. Let's keep going.
Say that there were 2 groups of people, the victims and the suspects, and that there was some kind of argument in the parking lot. Again, broad daylight. We're told that the victims were going to shop for shoes, as many people are doing right now as the weather warms up on this day. And somehow the suspects, we don't know how they got involved, but we are told that they are known to each other. And of course, now police looking for the suspects. Again, 2 people deceased, 2 people right now in area hospitals. Take a listen to what police said just a very short time ago.
Now, we're still looking for a suspect. Suspect has not been identified this time, but we do not believe that there's any danger to the public because we do not think it was random. These 2 groups of people knew each other, and it appears that's what the fight started from, previous disagreements.
So right now, police not identifying publicly the victims. We do know that they are men in their 20s. We did speak briefly to the father of the man who is here. He is obviously distraught, has no words to put this grief and just a horrible situation. I don't know how anyone, could put anything into words, but he did confirm to us that it was his son. So right now, of course, police still on the scene working this. Again, suspects still out there, and still a very active police scene here in East Point. Reporting live, Camille Amiri, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, Camille, it sounds like it's a really sad situation. Absolutely terrible here, but a lot of moving parts, multiple parties plus suspects. Do we know if the people who got involved in the shooting here were associated with one of the groups, or were they independent of that?
They're still all trying to figure this out. And again, there's people inside the shoe store that can't leave because this is a crime scene and they can't take their cars out. We've heard that people saw.
I'll be sick, boy. You just trying to go to Foot Locker to get you some shoes. Shooting happens. You duck you are in the store. You duck down. Now you stuck into the store to the police investigation, and you can't leave. You can't take your car. You can probably leave the store, but your car. That means you got to get an Uber. Somebody got to pick you up. Your car is there until they remove the tape, and I don't know how long that's going to take. Jesus, but Jesus.
This that they witnessed, that there's video cameras, and also too just absolutely horrific, and I hate to even bring this up, but there were people taking pictures and video when the victim was laying there on the ground, and that is how the dad found out that it was his son. We had one woman offer to show us the picture. I absolutely didn't want.
That is crazy. We are at this point, we are too desensitized to violence. There's no way you record while somebody's just lying there dead. It's a cold world we live in, boy.
Want to see it. It's just, and he's still here. Obviously, medical examiners have to come, but the victim, one of the fatal victims, is still here, covered up, obviously. But it's just these scenes. I mean, Hillary, we've covered so many of these over the years, but they're so hard to see the grieving relatives and for people to try to figure out if that's their relative. And it's just a horrible, horrible, sad situation. Should have never come to this.
It absolutely is horrible, and we feel for all of the victims involved in this, and frankly for you too, having to be there and deal with the immediate aftermath of that intense emotion, and folks wanting to show you just the fallout from it. So thank you so much for being there. Camila Mary live for us tonight.
Thank you.
Now, that is insane. Now, I have another video dealing with the same situation. It seems a woman turns herself in from this shooting. So let's jump right into that so we can get the full picture of this whole situation.
Also, new developments today following a shooting that killed 2 people and injured 2 others outside the Foot Locker store over the weekend.
Yeah, investigators have confirmed a suspect has turned herself in. Fox News' Camila Miri has the story.
Monday afternoon, a 19-year-old woman turns herself in to East Point police, accused of shooting 4 men in front of the Foot Locker store on 8 Mile Saturday afternoon.
You just have a whole total community impacted again by another act of senseless violence.
2 of the men died from their injuries, one of them on the scene, the other at a nearby hospital. Investigators say the violence started out as a disagreement between 2 groups of people who knew each other, a fist fight, and then gunshots.
We are lucky that no innocent bystanders.
So it always start out with a fist fight. Somebody get mad because they lose in the fist fight, and someone's gonna pull out a gun. People don't want to get their butt whooped no more. It's crazy. People are scared of getting fought, scared to get into a fight and losing, getting put it up on social media. All that plays into a factor, but. Let's keep going. Finish up.
Got hit by a stray bullet. We are very lucky that bullets didn't enter the store and hit people who were just coming to shop.
People need to learn how to talk things out before coming out into the community and coming out here creating situations like this.
All the men shot young, in their 20s and 30s, according to police. The deadly shooting leaving a path of emotional destruction.
I think that right now we need to be more proactive with respect to the issues and the things that we're getting involved with to the young men and women out here.
In East Point, Camila Mary, Fox 2 News.
Now, let me do a quick search and see if I can actually find the suspect. Let's do a quick search because they mentioned that they found a suspect. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Get this one up.
A man that was shot.
Let's get this one up. Let's look at this.
A man that was shot outside an East Point Foot Locker is now facing charges.
21-year-old DeJuan Taylor faces tampering with evidence and gun charges. The shooting happened May 3rd at the Foot Locker on East 8 Mile near Kelly at the Detroit-East Point border. Police say Taylor and his 19-year-old sister got into some sort of fight with another group. They say Taylor's sister went to get her gun when her brother was getting jumped and started shooting. 2 people died and another was hurt. Investigators say Taylor picked up his sister's gun and took off from the scene. Taylor's bond is set at $250,000, and he must wear a GPS tether, I should say, if released.
Like they just mentioned, he was getting jumped. I don't know how that would look, but maybe if he's getting jumped and feared for his life, and his sister feared for his life, and she pulled out a gun and shot, they might have, I don't know for sure, they might have been able to get away with self-defense. I'm not too sure, but I know if a group of men jumped on me and I'm fearing for my life, I am going to reach for my firearm. But it all turns on if you fear for your life. And it's crazy. It's crazy. 2 people are dead. All over a disagreement, but what's no more one-on-one fights no more? What's getting jumped is crazy. No more one-on-one fights, but it's absolutely crazy. That is it for that video. The next thing, next part of the show, we're going to talk about a capital murder suspect disappears on the day of trial. Crazy. Now, this has happened Dallas, Fort Worth. So this is Fox 4, Dallas, Fort Worth. Let's jump into that and see what's happening. Crazy.
There's a manhunt in North Texas tonight for a fugitive capital murder suspect. Authorities say Trevor McEwen cut off his ankle monitor early this morning. Sheriff live now with more. Stephen.
The sheriff is offering a $10,000 reward to anyone with the information that can lead to the arrest of McEwen. McEwen was out on bond after having already violated the terms of his bond agreement.
This guy is very dangerous.
What do you mean he already violated the bond agreement and he's still out? That is crazy. A murder suspect violates bond and then you let him back out? That is crazy. Let's keep going.
I mean, look at what he done in the past. Does he have anything to lose?
At 5:35 Monday morning, Kaufman County Sheriff Brian Beaver says capital murder suspect Trevor McEwen cut his ankle monitor and went on the run.
Monday was the day to start the trial, to pick the jury.
McEwen was arrested in May of 2023 for the murder of Aaron Martinez. Investigators say Martinez was shot multiple times and McEwen admitted to killing him after a standoff with SWAT. McEwen had been under house arrest since last December with family in neighboring Van Zandt County. Deputies went to that home when the ankle monitor indicated that it had been tampered with. When they arrived, they found a fire on part of the property and discovered the damaged ankle monitor in the...
A fire on the property and you cut your ankle bracelet. Yeah, he's trying to cause a distraction and slip away.
Bedroom.
I think he's been planning this from day one. He won't know the truth when he got out. I mean, he's got nothing to lose. So our step now is we're looking at every digital evidence that there is.
Investigators say they immediately launched a search for McEwen. The sheriff said a dog tracked his scent back to the main road, Highway 80 in Grand Saline.
I don't know who's helping him, but I will tell you this much. Anybody that's got information, as of right now, I'm putting up $10,000 from the sheriff's office, anybody to lead to his arrest.
The sheriff says the justice system failed the victim's family. McEwen was released on a $2.2 million bond last September. He went back to jail after violating the terms of the bond, only to be released again in December when he posted another $2 million bond.
It's a horrific crime. I mean,
so you mean to tell me someone gets arrested while they're out on bond or commits a crime while they're out on bond and breaks the bond agreement, gets sent back to jail, then gets the option to do another bond? Where does that make sense? Come on now. Another bond after you've already broken the first one? You obviously do not care about the legal system, and you do not care about what your response. You're a murderer anyway, so I mean, now they got to find him. They got to hit the chase. There's no reason he should have been able to disappear. As soon as he violated bond the first time, he should have been locked up and stayed in jail until that court case. But now the family's distraught. The killer is out on the loose. Don't know if you're going to find him again. They might, but yeah, they failed the family. They definitely failed the family on that one.
he's already proven to us that he'll violate conditions of bonds. But they still allowed him to have a bond, and, law enforcement gets frustrated.
What did I just say? Even law enforcement are frustrated. Why do you let him get a bond again? There's this. I need to hear from the judge on what he was thinking.
Over stuff like this.
According to the sheriff, he says that McEwen and his family members' cars were still at the home, so he didn't get away in his vehicle. I asked the sheriff if McEwen's family members were being cooperative. He said yes.
And $10,000 is a lot of money. I'm sure somebody will speak up for that.
In these times, yeah, somebody is definitely going to speak up about if they see him. It's over with, but at the end of the day, it is, I hate to say it, well, I don't hate to say it, but it's the judge's fault. Whoever said that he needs to get another bond after already breaking the first bond, they weren't thinking properly. Not thinking properly at all. Jesus. But I'll keep everyone updated on if they find him, when they find him. I'm assuming there's going to be definitely more charges added, but at this point, oh my God, if they give him, there's no way they can give him another bond after that. At least that's my thinking. And if they do, that whole system is messed up. But next thing, so this is crazy. Next thing we're going to get into is a woman. A woman is killed by a sword. It's crazy to think about. But let's jump right into this. Let's jump right into that.
Story developing tonight. A man walks into a Detroit police precinct and confesses he killed his wife with a sword. Police say the man in his 60s
confesses to killing his wife with a sword. A goddamn sword. It's crazy.
Walked in around 4:30 this morning and is now behind bars. Officers went to the home on Conley Street near 7 Mile, and that's where they found the woman's body.
They arrived at the location. They found a door unsecured. They made entry and went to an upstairs bedroom where they found the deceased.
And although the suspect is in custody, police are still asking anyone with information to come forward.
Detroit police are also investigating a shooting on the...
Now, that's very quick. Let's see if I can find any more information on that. A dang sword is insane. Let me look and see if we can find some more stuff. Oh, here we go. Found something. Let's jump right into that. A little more in-depth video. Let's jump right into that.
New at 6, this is a sad and bizarre situation here. A Detroit man in police custody after he allegedly admitted to fatally stabbing his wife with a sword.
Yeah, police also say the man walked into the police department early this morning and confessed to this crime. Fox 2's Camila Murray joins us live from the Detroit Police Department's 11th precinct with what we know so far. Camille, as you heard, it's a strange one.
What's been happening in Detroit? It's crazy. Jesus.
Yeah, this is definitely a strange one. Turning himself into the 11th precinct behind me, which is on Nevada Street. Incidentally, he lived with his wife on Connolly Street, which is the intersection right to my right. He literally lived about half a mile, less than a half a mile away. Could have walked here. It happened around 4:30 this morning. We did obtain a picture of the victim from the family members. If you could, we could show that picture. Her name is Catherine Thompson. She was 67 years old. You see here in the picture with her 2 grown children. They gave us this picture. They wanted us to share it with our viewers, but they were just too distraught to talk. They said that their mother was a wonderful woman who was loved by so many people. When we went there, down the street, a family member lives down the street from where this all happened. This happened at the home that she shared with her husband, a duplex actually in the upstairs. And it was amazing to me how many family members had gathered down the street where one of them lives, just all distraught, crying, hugging. They can't believe that this happened. Again, as you said, around 4:30 this morning, the man came over to the 11th precinct and told police to arrest him because he, in his words, he had stabbed his wife with a sword. Take a listen to what police have to say.
2 scout cars.
The only reason you're going to confess is that guilt in your soul. What can possess somebody to stab their wife with a sword? A sword. Like, that is crazy to me. Someone pulls out a sword and stabs their own wife. Not shoot. And not stab with a knife. A sword. A sword. But let's keep going.
Cars were dispatched out to an address on Conley, just south of 7 Mile. When they arrived at the location, they found a door unsecured. They made entry and went to an upstairs bedroom where they found the deceased.
Just incredibly sad and hard to believe. They did recover that sword, but not saying anything more about that, asking people to call the police if they know anything else about this. But the man is in custody. Family members just not ready to talk about it, but said that hopefully they will have a vigil or some kind of tribute in the days to come to remember Catherine Thompson. Reporting live on the city's east side, Camila Murray, Fox 2 News.
And now, of course, police are going to be working through all of this, but you have to question premeditation. Did he think about even doing this before he apparently committed this offense?
That is a good question. Now, was this because that's the only way I can think that you would think about, geez, I don't even know how to. It sounds like something emotional, that you're overcome with emotions or rage and you just pick up the first thing you see and do it. And oh my God, that's crazy. I don't see how that can be anything planned, but that might be one of the reasons why he turned himself in, because he was hot, emotional, it happened, and then yes, he felt guilty about what he did, so he turned himself in. Those line of events makes the most sense to me. But let's finish up this video.
Awful crime.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is just awful. You know, family members, like I said, they were gracious enough to share that picture and tell us a little bit about Catherine, but they were just so distraught and so shocked and said that she was just so loved and that she loved people and they loved her. And I think in that picture you can tell, I got the feeling of what kind of person she was, and just in talking to her grown children for a little bit too, that this woman definitely will be missed.
It is, I'm going to say this a lot, I don't know what's happening with the world nowadays. So much violence. People are desensitized to it. But we'll keep everybody updated, or I will keep everyone updated on what's happening with that, what he gets, what kind of sentence that he gets. I'm assuming there's no way he's going to jail for murder. At least that's my thinking, my understanding of what should happen. Crazy. The next thing, now we only got a few more topics left, but the next thing we want to look at is squatters. So if you don't know what squatters are, I'm assuming everybody knows what squatters are, but squatter breaks into your house or breaks into a house, lives there, and they will have a scam where, oh, we got a renter's agreement, a mortgage agreement. This is our house. So in some states, unless you have proof, like cameras, that's why you need cameras in your rentals apartments or anything like that, cameras, that they broke in. If the police, they see that fake renter's agreement, it don't matter if you got one too. They will not make them leave. Now that's some states. Some states, if they've been in there for 30 days, you got to have an official eviction notice with the courts, which can take six or so months. Now this was a big problem, COVID and everything like that, because they would not. So during COVID, they would not evict anyone. They would not evict anyone. So you would have to, they had like an eviction pause. So people are staying in the places, not paying any kind of rent, but the landowner still has to pay his mortgage and any kind of services that he already was providing. So if he was providing water or power and they pay him for that, no, he has to keep providing those same services. But what happened in Chicago, this man decided to, hey, if they're not going to leave, I'm going to move in with them. So let's jump into that.
Chicago man says he did the unthinkable when he discovered alleged squatters in his property. He decided to move in with them. Marco Velasquez is the owner of this Southside property, which is on the market to be sold. He says his realtor came by with a potential buyer, but there was already people inside.
I couldn't believe it. It was like a nightmare.
Velasquez says a woman named Charmaine and her boyfriend Codero moved in, claiming they recently purchased the property. He says the couple showed police this mortgage.
What I say, they gonna show a mortgage or some kind of renter's agreement saying that, oh, they are allowed to live here. This is what they signed. So the cops aren't going to do anything. They're like, oh, well, you got to go through the courts.
Document. But Cook County confirms they don't see this mortgage on record. Velasquez's realtor recorded this video as the couple explained to police they had a right to be there.
Y'all bogus right now. I listen, bro.
He says police told them under Illinois' current law they couldn't remove anyone.
I said I'm not moving out, and I said at the one point they gotta leave. They gotta get tired of us being in the property. I called a couple of friends, stay overnight, and I knew they were not gonna like that.
So you're telling me that you and your friends came in and moved in with them?
Yes.
Velasquez says he, his wife, and their friends got a few air mattresses and spent the night with the alleged squatters.
We stayed in the living room. We were watching all the time the door. They stayed in one of the bedrooms.
The next morning, he says he realized they were not budging.
They're like, oh, well, we want $8,000.
Velasquez.
They want $8,000 to get out of your house. $8,000 to get out of your house. If it was me, I'm releasing so many bugs. You got to do something to where, like, you're not going to tell nobody, but a giant infestation of roaches popped up. It's a giant. Like, I don't know what it is. A giant infestation of roaches. Something. So many bugs. Spiders. My pet snakes accidentally got out. Something. They are leaving that house. Leaving. 8 bands to get out of my own house? It's crazy. But let's keep going.
Says they negotiated. He had the couple sign a cash for key agreement, and he paid them $4,300 to leave.
We wouldn't want to give them money, but we heard, really bad stories about.
He was messing with professionals. Hey, good negotiator. He was able to get it down from $8,000 to $4,300. But no, so many bugs would have been released, and I'm just laying down and with a smile on my face, waiting for them to leave. As soon as they leave, locks are changed, cameras are installed, and the exterminator is getting called. It's as simple as that.
But squatters taking over properties 6, 8, 10 months, even a year.
Velasquez says weeks later, a CPD detective called them, informing them that one of the alleged squatters is the same woman accused of squatting in Marcia and Carlton Lee's home after leaving his.
What I say, professionals. They are professionals. They leave one spot, they're going to go to another. And if they're in the same, the city or the county has the same laws, can't get them out. Unless you pay them, unless you get the courts involved, and they're in there for a couple days, or not even a couple days, a couple months, trying to get everything resolved legally. But crazy.
It's property. In the Lee's case, Charmaine Powell Gillard was arrested and
come on, man. Come on.
Charged with burglary, forgery, obstructing identification.
You see that smirk on her face? That would have pissed me off, man. Cost me all this money. That would have pissed me off.
And criminal residential trespassing. In the meantime, Velasquez says he's working with a detective, and he hopes action is taken in his case, too.
I heard stories before about squatters. I never thought it was going to happen to me.
The accused squatter, Charmaine Powell Gillard, said claims that she is a squatter are false and unfounded, and wrote, quote, innocent until proven guilty. We also reached out to her alleged boyfriend, Codero, but have not heard back.
Claims that I'm a squatter are unfound and unjust. You were literally squatting in somebody's place that you don't own. That is what... Ain't no way. Now, these laws that... It's crazy to think about the laws that some of these places pass. Like in New York, I think that's one of them, like 30 days. They're in there 30 days without anybody saying anything. They can claim squatters' rights. Man. I think in my state, the last time I looked it up, it was something crazy, like 10 years. You got to be in there 10 years to try to claim squatters' rights. But that is crazy. Main thing I can say about that is make sure you have cameras on any kind of rental properties have. You need cameras all around. That way you can have the recording of when they first broke in. That is a main factor. Check on your properties. And when in doubt, you got to release some roaches if you got to, I guess. Now, that's it for that video. The next thing, fights breaking out in the courtrooms. That's the next. So we got some fights. We got a fight that broke out in a courtroom. Some people saying some heated stuff over a murder sentencing. That is a murder sentencing now. Both sides of the families brawling. So let's jump into that.
This fight breaking out during the sentencing phase of a murder trial between members of the victim's family and the defendant's loved ones. Punches still flying as the fight grows even bigger, moving into the aisle. Until finally, deputies restore order. Both sides in court to find out how much time Tobias Robinson would spend in jail for shooting and killing Trinjavius Hutton at a mall in 2022. That murder occurring in broad daylight. At the sentencing hearing, the victim's mother pleading to the judge.
I'm not saying that we're innocent, but you know what I'm saying? I hate him, and I hope something bad happens when we jail.
Damn. So now you heard what she just said. She knows he's not innocent. He's not an innocent young man. It wasn't just like he's just a random kid. At least that's what it sounds like to me that she is saying. But she said, I hope something bad happens to him in jail. I mean, upset about her son's murder, of course. Yeah, so let's keep going.
I hate it. And I think that you could consider, you should give him the max that you can, because evidently he don't care.
Saying her son's killer showed no remorse.
I hate you and I hope you die and just.
Those words starting an argument between people watching.
Judge was asking how you guys go. Nobody.
Two people removed at the judge's request.
Get up, bro. Come here, bro. Go that. Tell yeah, you was a.
But not before fists started flying. Once court resumed, the convicted killer sentenced to 21 years in prison. Now 6 people involved in the fight charged with misdemeanors. Relatives of the victim charged with disorderly conduct, and his mother for using, quote, fighting words. Those charged could not immediately be reached for comment and didn't have attorneys listed. Now as they prepare.
Wait, let's rewind that just a tad bit.
With misdemeanors. Relatives of the victim charged with disorderly conduct, and his mother for using, quote, fighting words. Those charged could not immediately be reached for comment and didn't have attorneys listed. Now as they prepare for their own hearings, a protective order in place.
Is that a baby scroller? Is that a baby scroller? Where's the kid?
Didn't have attorneys listed. Now as they prepare for their own hearings, a protective order in place to try and prevent something like this from happening again.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated.
Not caring about what's around you. I don't know where that kid was. Maybe did we miss it? Where do you see a kid in somebody's arms?
And didn't have attorneys listed.
Yeah. There's the kid. Oh, that's crazy.
For comment and didn't have attorneys listed. Now as they prepare for their own hearings, a protective order in place to try and prevent something like this from happening again.
Thanks for watching.
You start brawling right where a kid is crazy. What if the kid would have got hurt? That is insane. Jesus, but a young man now is in jail for 21 years. 21 years. Come out. Ain't never gonna be able to get a good steady job again. Well, he might be able to get a good steady job in McDonald's or something like that, but you got a murder on you. You got a murder on your belt. Any way of you reaching further heights is unless you go. Maybe you can reach further heights, but in the corporate ladder, no, it's over with. It's crazy. I don't know what this other kid did, but the mom herself said he wasn't an innocent boy. So, feel bad for our community sometimes, but that's it for that one. Crazy. Next thing I want to get into is group of YNs arrested. Group of YNs got arrested. Young, 19 years and younger. But let's jump into it and see what's happening. Now this is in, where is this at? This is at...
4 police officers were injured while trying to arrest a robbery suspect. It happened in downtown Dallas. 2 Dallas police officers.
I swear it's always in Dallas, man. Golly.
And 2 DART officers were injured. Happened Friday night near the West End DART station. 5 people, all 19 years old or younger, ended up arrested. One of them charged with punching a police officer in the face.
Look how young these kids. Look at this boy. This boy don't even look like a young teenager. YNs.
Face. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager joins us live to explain what happened. Peyton.
Heather, and the latest this evening, DART tells us the 2 DART officers were treated and released. 2 Dallas police officers also injured. 1 was taken to the hospital. It all started Friday evening when an officer noticed a robbery suspect in that group. Surveillance video shows what appears to be 19-year-old Kendrick Braxton casually walking, holding a backpack, just moments after investigators say he robbed an East Dallas convenience store. Seconds later, a man exits a truck, unaware of what just took place. According to Dallas police, on April 28th at 1 p.m., Braxton held someone at
I don't know what just happened. Jesus. But let's finish this up.
In cash, Braxton left on foot. Surveillance stills were captured and sent out to Dallas patrol officers. 4 days later, last Friday evening, an officer recognized Braxton and 4 other young men near the West End DART platform. Police say it appeared a drug deal was happening. Once the 5 suspects, all 19 years old and younger, noticed police, they took off. Braxton was tackled to the ground. A reported stolen pistol, masks, gloves, and cash were found inside his backpack. Meanwhile, 18-year-old Joseph Session was able to jump over a wall while running from officers. Police say during the foot chase, Session punched a DART police sergeant in the face. Session was quickly placed in handcuffs. A BB gun was found in his pants. According to DART, a second DART officer was also injured. Dallas police tell Fox 4 their officers responded to the assist officers call. During the takedown, 2 Dallas police officers were also injured. 1 was taken to a nearby hospital. Another DPD officer had minor injuries. All 5 suspects were eventually taken into custody. This includes Braxton, Session, plus 17-year-old Marteus Robinson, 17-year-old Arthur Ollie.
17 years old, getting arrested.
Alexander, and 17-year-old Jalen Mathis. And Heather, back to the East Dallas robbery. We visited the corner store today, and the victim told me off camera the suspect came in on Sunday, the day before the robbery. Thankfully, that victim was not injured during the robbery.
Scoping out the scene.
Meanwhile, Braxton and Session, both of those teens remain in the Dallas County Jail this evening. Heather?
All right, Peyton Yeager live for us tonight. Thank you.
Would-be robber opens fire inside of a
It is crazy. Swear the younger kids are nowadays jumping right into the street life, but insane. Now the last thing I want to get into for the show is Dominic Alexander. He was I think he's a pastor who was speaking at the Carmelo Anthony's case. He released a video basically talking about when he kicked out Austin Metcalf's father out of the courtroom. So if you remember that, go back and check the other videos, and let's watch a little bit of this and see what his thinking was.
Educate people on what went on during our press conference that we held here in our office for the Anthony family. About 11 a.m. was where the press conference was actually supposed to start, right? About 10 a.m., because of the threats that we were receiving, not only against the Anthony family's life, my life, the threats we were getting towards the organization, Dallas Police Department were placed outside of the facility about 10 a.m. That was even before any press got here, anybody got here. Even our own security staff even got here. There were 2 plainclothes intelligence officers from DPD placed inside of the building. When Jeffrey Metcalf walked through the building, he walked past 2 plainclothes.
Jeffrey. So I've always just referred to him as Austin Metcalf's father. So Jeffrey Metcalf.
They were already here. We heard so many different gossip walk through the building. He walked past 2 plainclothes DPD officers. We didn't call the police on him. They were already here. We heard so many different gossip bloggers, YouTube, TikTok, Fox News, all of these people talking about, how could you be insensitive to the father? How could you tell him to leave? He's the victim. He's this, he's that. What you're missing, this press conference was not organized by him. This press conference wasn't about him. This press conference didn't invite him. It's a private facility. And yet at the end of the day, it's a criminal case, y'all. It's literally inappropriate, not only ethically, but it's inappropriate for that family to interact. And we don't know what we don't know. And at the end of the day, I have to ensure that the safety of all of the parties are intact. Just someone showing up at our press conference, we can't just have that. We don't know what it is. But this whole notion that we just went after him and attacked him and just had this vendetta.
It's the whole fact. The main fact of the matter is that when he said, "Oh, this is a disgrace to your son," he knows he shouldn't have been here. My thinking is, which is I think very logical, is if my son was killed, if there's any press conferences and the family's making any statements, I would like to be there. I understand. Yes, but he did the right thing. He didn't make a fuss or anything when they asked him to leave because he knew, at least this is my thinking, he knew that if they wanted to, since it's a private press conference, they can ask him to leave at any time. So he left, shook the officer's hands, all right, and left out. He didn't cause a scene. He was just sitting there quietly. No, man.
Lost his child.
I don't know why every time it's paused, it ends up going to mute. Yeah, every time.
Lost a child. 1 year later, after burying my own son, I understand that pain, right? But here's the thing. We didn't even know who he was. That's the crazy part. All of these gossip bloggers and different people rush to do videos and do this. And I really don't care about what no one says about me. I really don't. I don't care about the racist pricks who want to say things about Dominique and say something about my past. I really, quite frankly, don't. If you personally know me, you know your attacks towards me only do one thing: boost my ego, right? The reality is I really, quite frankly, don't give a damn, right? So I just want you to truly understand that. So you attacking my posts, you saying my name, you tagging me, you doing all this, that's really not going to help your cause, because I'm tried, tested, and proven, y'all. I've been doing this over 10 years. Yet saying things about me, man, you're going to waste your time, your speak, your everything. Putting 45 minutes on Instagram or whatever you want to do to say that Dominique Alexander is the Antichrist. I wouldn't give.
Crazy. But he said his piece. I understand where you don't know what could have happened. So the main problem I had with the whole thing was just him saying this is a disgrace to your son. That is where my line. Him kicking him out. Well, him saying I do think he should have let if he was not acting crazy. But at the end of the day, safety aspect, and it's a private venue. It's their event, and they have the right to have anybody there there and kicked out who they want. That is just their right as the property owners or the who's throwing the event. So can't really say much about it, but if you want to, go watch the full video. I'm not going to jump through the whole video, but hey, I just wanted to hear him what his thoughts were about him kicking Austin Metcalf's fathers out. But everybody, that is the end of the show. That is the end. Thank y'all, everybody, for watching. Thank you for tuning in later. Remember, this is AC Reviews the World. where we review viral content and news that's happening, and so we can just get understanding. And so everybody come along with me so we can review the world together. But that's it for today. Thank you for coming. Remember to like and subscribe. And that's it. You know I always got to do the outro. So we're going to, or the intro one more time. So I'll do that and then, but that's it. Peace.